you stream it? Is it on your personal profile?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay, so yeah.
And it's a public stream, so anybody who is friends with me on Facebook or can find me, you can go ahead and share the live stream for your Facebook friends and contacts.
Nice.
All right, everyone, super exciting.
Amazing. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you, Thomas, for organizing this. Thank you for everyone who joined. So we're going to. Well, first I'll mute for sure the people. Yeah, if you can mute yourself, that's done. Like this, we don't get interrupted. And yeah, hi everyone. So today we'll do a little presentation about our experience with a little device that's completely transformed the lives of many people here. This little box called the Healy, and we'll get more into it, but we really think it's the future of holistic medicine. And Thomas and myself, we've been having that device for a year now. And yeah, we've used it almost every day. It's been super helpful on a lot of levels in terms of energy, in terms of presence. We'll go more in details into this. Yeah, so I don't know, Thomas, if we go ahead with the presentation, yeah, that's a bit the journey we offer you today during this presentation is to discover Healy. So it's a revolutionary frequency therapy based on quantum technology. And my friend, the alchemist Thomas, will dive more into what that means and how that operates. Then we'll see how this personal device is leading the next evolution of health and healing, because there's a whole shift in paradigm that comes with that little device. And the third part is about you meet a community of conscious entrepreneurs, like a few of us here, thought leaders, healers, scientists, and experts that create a global impact. So we'll share a little bit about ourselves. We are your hosts, myself, Alex, and Thomas. Personally, so we're both from France. And personally, I was working in startup, and then I went through in the past 3-4 years spiritual awakening, leading to me creating my wanting to be an entrepreneur, but also wanting to do businesses and actions in the world that really raise the consciousness of our planet. And so in the past year, especially, well, a year ago, I discovered Healy. And when I tried it on myself, I really saw that it could help being more present, having more energy. I also had a little pain in the back that cleared pretty straight away. And I've been following a lot in the past 2 years, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Deepak Chopra, and living in Bali now, I've experienced more and more energy healing. So even though I come more from a traditional background where you'd have more, you eat normal food, and then when you're sick, you take a pill and you don't think about energy. Now I'm pretty aware that we are energy, and I was very open to it. And during the past year, I've loved the product. I've loved also the community I've been co-creating with, because I found a lot of like-minded people. So I'm super excited to be sharing that with you today. And Thomas is actually the first person I talked to about Healy. When I got Healy, I thought, okay, who in my friends are really passionate about energy work, about quantum healing, and will understand that product and will be also interested in sharing that with more people on that planet. So to you, Thomas.
And a little word about myself. I come from an engineering background, and then I went into digital strategy consulting for 6 years before I had a shift in my life, like probably many of you have experienced, that led me to reprioritize what is important for me in my life. And I had a tough time, a burnout and a depression, which actually compelled me to go and heal myself and reconstruct myself. And that journey actually showed me that wellness and well-being and health is the most precious thing we have. And it's much more diverse and very wide as a topic, as a healing. I discovered spirituality and personal development through that process and became passionate about it. So now I've been dedicating the last 3 years exploring different spiritual practices, from yoga to qigong to the alchemies of hermetism. And as I discovered more and more about the quantum field and quantum physics, Alex told me about the Healy. So at the beginning, of course, with my skeptic scientific mind, I didn't believe in it, or I wanted to actually try it myself, because we know we have a lot of these fake placebo products that exist in the world. So I tried it. It took me a month to really experiment with it until I got convinced that it was doing what it was saying it was doing, which I'm going to present today. So I've been now exploring with it and sharing it for more than a year with Alex, my brother and business partner. So today, our intention is to communicate our enthusiasm and to make you curious about it. It's not about convincing or selling. It's about telling you, guys, something big is happening in the world. In our modern era, we have new tools available for feeling better and for empowering yourself regarding the topics of health and moving away from the paradigm that is existing in modern medicine, which is to treat, let's say, 80% of the situations, of the conditions with pharmaceutical drugs. So today, let's dive in. What do we have to tell you? First, let's see who is part of Healy today, because as we will see, we are 160,000 people in the world. And I would categorize them, let's say, in 4 categories. The first one is wellness enthusiast. Anybody who likes feeling good and is, into fitness, into nutrition, into meditation, and that want to experiment Healy to optimize even more their field of interest. It's for spiritual healer, for example, Reiki and magnetism practitioners who are already working with other levels of reality that we cannot see and that want to go a little bit further into their practice. And as we will see, the Healy is working on the energy level and can access data and information from that invisible field. It's also for health professionals that are already having patients and helping people in different modalities. It can be physicians and let's say the traditional medicine path, but also anybody in psychotherapy, in psychology, or relaxology, sophrology, any field where you're helping people heal and feel better. Because health professionals know that not everybody is responding the same way to different treatments. So having more tools in your toolbox can actually help your patients better, and Healy is one of them. And finally, because of the distribution model that was chosen by the company, which is a network marketing, and we'll explain what it is and why, people can actually earn an additional income by sharing this product, by sharing good vibrations and new technologies that people can try actually for free for 2 weeks before deciding if they want to keep it. So in these current times on the planet where people are losing jobs and where the economy is plunging, it's a great way to sustain yourself and maybe even thrive. So if you're not finding yourself in these categories, we will try to make you interested in the first one or maybe the last one. So let's start with Nikola Tesla, a great scientist and awakened being that was present here in the last century and whose work is actually building the foundation of most of the technology we are using today. And he delivered this insight. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, you need to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, which is actually the core fabric of this reality. And these are exactly the topics that Healy is working with and the reason why it's so efficient. a little disclaimer, because it's important to share on the public space. Healy is classified as a medical device, which is amazing. It's not just an alternative product, but only for the treatment of certain conditions like fibromyalgia, chronic pain, skeletal pain, and migraine, and is also listed as a supporting treatment for depression, anxiety, and sleep disorders. The other applications cannot be directly validated or certified by the current medical standards because they are using the quantum field, as we will explain, which creates a unique treatment just for the person using it. Because of that, you cannot do randomized studies on a group of people because everybody will receive a unique treatment. And that's the most exciting part. All right, so let's deep dive into the core of the topic here. What is Healy? What does it do? First, it will analyze imbalances or distortions or disharmonies in the information field of a person. The information field is also called the quantum field or the Akashic records in the traditions of the East. So it's another dimensional level where all the information of your health exists, like the hard drive of the computer, but for your body. So it will analyze in all of your being where are energies and systems harmonized and where there is a perturbation, a disturbance. But it doesn't only give you information. It will also deliver, based on that analysis, the correct frequencies, electrical frequencies, like I'm using right now. And these frequencies, if they are the correct one for your body, for your current processes, they will allow, they will catalyze the organic healing of the body. Because it is not the healing that is providing the healing, it's your own body. It's the intelligence that is innate in life, and that is the most exciting thing ever, by the way. The body knows how to heal itself. When you cut yourself, if you put the right conditions, if you clean it, and if you are careful with it, the cut will cicatrize and the body will recover, let's say, the optimal state. So what the Healy does is analyzes where your frequencies are not aligned, and then it will deliver a personalized frequency therapy. And then it will analyze again, once you receive the first frequency, to know, now that you received it, what is the next frequency that you need the most? And then you will continue in this dynamic feedback analysis. So in a word, what the Healy is doing is creating a unique, personalized frequency program. So you would see on the screen, my Healy right now is delivering frequencies to help me to relax because, I don't want to have the bias of speaking too fast. And every 10 seconds, it's updating which frequencies I'm receiving. One to relax the muscles, and then maybe one to relax the optic nerves, then one to relax the brain waves, and so on. So now that we understood the core functioning of the Healy, let's move forward. If we sum it up, what is happening here is that we have a device, a wearable device that we have here, that has the capacity to send more than 144,000 frequencies, which are mathematical numbers. Like right now, I'm receiving 30,433 hertz. And then it's going to update. Now I'm receiving 23,266 hertz. So it's great to send frequency, and that's not new. You will agree with me. We know how to do that for 100 years. What is interesting is which frequencies we need. And for that, the innovation, the disruptive part of this technology is that it's not you or the physician that will decide which frequencies you need. It will be the quantum field. It will be a resonance analysis in your energy field to ask directly, bypassing the mind and the bias of a human mind, to know what you need. And how to use it? Well, it works with an app on your phone. Simply because we all have very powerful phones, and this is a smart utilization of that computing power. So it's easy to use. I have the little device that just has one button on it, on off, and I have my phone from which I'm steering, I'm piloting the usage of my Healy. Great. So what can we use it for? First, and let's say I would say it's the most common application, it will be on the physical plane. As we saw, it's a medical device for pain management. Because, you know, after years of studies, more than actually I would say 80 to 90 years of study, we identified some frequencies that will reduce the pain signals in your body. We can use it for detoxification. If you're into fasting and cleaning and juicing, you can support an even further detoxification of your body if you send the right frequencies that will tell your liver and your pancreas and your gut to clean further. It works on the skin. It's very efficient for burns, for acne, pimples, and so on. And finally, of course, you can use it for fitness to improve the energy flow in your muscles, in your cardio and let's say performance, but also to regenerate the fibers of the muscles in case of injury. So let's say that's how I categorize the physical category. It also works on the mental plane. So the mental plane, what is the most, let's say, used application will be the mental conditions or mental illnesses, which can be a big, scary word, but we are all subject to it because anxiety and stress and looping in negative thoughts, those are mental illnesses. It will help you to work, help you to focus, help you to get more intuitive if you're a creative being. It will help you for meditation if you wish to use it for that. And they even figured out which frequencies can help you to learn, to digest and integrate information, new information. Like, for example, what I'm doing now, if you had a Healy, you could put it in the learning frequencies so that it feels less heavy to take in. I use it personally a lot. It also works on the bioenergetical level. So they set up frequency programs for each of your main organs. So if you have liver issues, for example, sending the right frequencies to the liver cells will allow and activate the processes, the natural healing capabilities of your organ to balance and clean itself. Also for each of the systems, the 9 main systems of your biological body, for example, the nervous system, the hormonal system, it's used by women on their moon to balance and, let's say, reduce the heavy impact on the hormonal and emotional side. And finally, because they have worked a lot with mainly leaders and healers from the East on the meridians of Chinese medicine. Because, of course, maybe you don't know, and in this case, I invite you to look into it, a disease, an illness, a condition, first arises in the energetical level as a distortion. And if it's not fixed at that level, it will manifest into the physical plane. So if you work at the energy level and you solve the disturbance there, then you will not encounter a physical issue. And finally, they also put programs for beauty. So of course, how you look, for nails, for skin, for hair, but beauty as well as a spiritual consideration of life. There is some programs for inner beauty, for seeing differently how things are and how beautiful they actually are without judgment. That's why I put it as a different, separate category. And finally, the chakras. We'll talk a little bit more about the chakras later on, but if you don't know about it, they are energetical centers existing in the etheric and also the other subtle bodies, and that are responsible for your growth, for your emotions, and for the overall circuitry of your body. So finally, what we can see, and it can seem like a big claim, but it's true. It will work. It will have positive effect if used properly at all levels of your experience. And that's one of the reasons why we are so excited about it. We can thus call it a multidimensional, because it works on several dimensions, harmonization technology, because that's the real key word here. It needs to harmonize and balance disturbances. Wonderful. Now we can ask ourselves, how the heck is this possible? And that was my first question, you know, when I started to see that it was actually doing what it said it was doing. We have other videos that go very deep into the quantum work and the technology within the Healy. For the purpose of this webinar, what we're going to do is to focus on what is happening in the body if you send the right frequency. Let's take a cell, a nice simplified model of a cell. What you can see here is that due to the concentration of ions or electrically charged particles outside the cells and inside the cell, because it's a water medium, the ions concentration creates a electrical charge in the domain within the cell. And what has been shown in studies is that the capacity of the cell to be healthy, to be functioning properly, depends and is correlated with a correct or sufficient electrical potential. Meaning you need to have enough tension, energy tension on the cell membrane for the cell to be able to do what it knows what to do. So, what is this studies? Without going more in the details, I invite you to look up the work of Becker and Nordenstrom, which actually wrote scientific reviews and, let's say, Bibles of energy and electric medicine. And Nordenstrom was actually the chairman of the Nobel Prize Committee for Medicine. And their research shows that, as you see on the graph, the more, let's say, balance is the electrical tension, the more healthy is the cell. So how to read this? If you can follow here the red dots, if you're here, it means that you have a certain potential, electric potential at the cell membrane. And when you go up there, what you're seeing is less electrical tension at the membrane of the cell. And what has been shown in studies is that a cell becomes to be aging or sick, inflamed, and even leading to death as the electrical potential plunges and becomes close to zero. So what is happening here is that through the quantum field, we are identifying the correct frequencies to send to each of your cells, and you have trillions, and they're, you know, mainly all different. If you send them the right frequency, they will start to activate. They will enter in resonance, exactly like a circular room in which you enter, or a cathedral, and you start to make a certain sound, oh, and at one moment you hear the echo everywhere, because you started to put a frequency that is connected physically to that environment. So that's the basic functioning of the Healy. If you send the correct frequencies, the cell will enter in resonance, and it will start to activate cellular respiration. It will start to produce more ATP, thus more energy, and it will start to balance itself. All right, enough for the science here. Let's go into the results. And I'm going to call one of our team members so that you don't just hear from me. Brother Rio, you can come online.
Greetings.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit briefly about my personal experience with this amazing little device, which even when I'm not using it is around my neck. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I basically put it on in the morning and I take it off at night. And it's when I do take it off at night, it sits on the top of my bed. Because even when it's not active, when it's not turned on, I feel like when it is in my presence, it is connecting me to that quantum field no matter what. But when I do use it, and I was introduced to it about 6 months ago by a lovely individual that is on here, JJ, thank you for changing my life. This device showed up in a restaurant here in Bali, and I had not met Jennifer yet, JJ, and we were friends on Facebook. I saw her walking by. She walked by, and immediately she looked over and looked at me, and there was this instant connection of like, we know each other, but not sure how. And she walked up to me. She's like, "You're Rio." I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know me?" So we started talking. I saw this around her neck, and I asked her what it was because I saw she had things hooked up to her wrists. And we started talking. I've been involved with energy work in Reiki and all sorts of other different practices in my practice over the last 15 years of my life. And when she told me about what she had, what she was using, immediately I wanted to experience it. So I went to a meeting that weekend, had some scans done, had a personal experience myself, which basically blew my mind wider open than it had ever been before. So then I started using it, started going over to her house, started visiting with her, having sessions done. And immediately I could feel and sense what was going on a different level than anything that I have ever felt in my 51 years of life and the last 15 years of my practice and what I do. So I ended up purchasing one. JJ just happened to have an extra one that she let me use for quite a while I was waiting for mine to arrive. And what I have done personally with this device in the last, what has it been, 5 months now, has changed my life in ways that before I didn't really know how to describe, but I have a few experiences that I would like to share with you. Personally, myself, when I was 25 years old, I had a very, very severe incident with poison ivy. If you're not familiar with what poison ivy is, it's a very toxic chemical compound that is contained within a leaf. It's an oil that sent me to the hospital. I was in the hospital for a number of hours because I basically ended up with burns and blisters and severe itching all over my entire body from my head to my toe and every possible inch that you could think of. They had to put steroid cream on me. They did treatments, and I was wrapped up like a mummy for about 7 to 8 days, and I couldn't do anything. Once the allergy and the burns went away, I had some scarring, I had some issues, and shortly after that, I started having some outbreaks again that showed up in certain spots on my body from, I didn't know what, I wasn't sure. And I finally figured out after doing a lot of research that there were certain foods that are in the same family as poison ivy. And those just happen to be, unfortunately, 2 of my favorite foods. There's 4 of them. Mangoes, my favorite food, pistachios, and cashews. I couldn't eat them anymore once I found that out because I realized what was happening. Every time that I ate those foods, it was triggering the allergic reaction that would show up on my body in a poison ivy burn, which shows up as a blister. And it basically feels like someone's taking a hot syringe full of hot boiling grease and injecting it into your skin. It itches like crazy, it burns, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. I experienced that for 25 years of my life, 26 years of my life. Because certain times I would eat foods that I did not know had been near pistachios, cashews, or mangoes, or had cashews in them, things like that. So I just basically stopped eating those foods. But every once in a while, I would have those experiences, especially when I moved here to Bali. And mangoes are everywhere. Cashews are in just about everything that I like to eat. So when this Healy showed up in my life, I decided to have a little experiment. And this was a big one for me because I've been experiencing this for 26 years of my life. So I ran for 4 days. I ran certain programs that were specifically targeting allergies, food sensitivities and allergies, allergy meridians, and allergies in general. I ran those programs for 4 days straight and started eating mangoes just to see what would happen. And I was a little nervous, I will tell you that. But it usually shows up within 12 hours of having these foods. The next morning I woke up, no reaction. Like, okay, let's do it again. I ate 2 mangoes that day, no reaction. Then I ate cashews and mangoes that third day, no reaction. Since then, it has been, or what's it been now, 3 months, and I have had 0 reaction to mangoes, pistachios, and cashews anymore. I'm now able to eat my favorite food on a regular basis, basically change the cellular level in my body to the point where I can eat those foods and not have a reaction. So for me personally, on a whole different level, there's a number of other different things that I deal with. Pain, because of back injuries, neck injuries, that has gone from levels that on a scale of 1 to 10, most people would consider like a 17 or 18, down to like a manageable 1 or 2 on the pain level. So for me personally, it's changed my life. Second thing I would like to share is an experience that I had with a local Balinese lady who's a friend of mine. She lives in Ubud, a couple hours away from me. I went to visit her one night and we were sitting and having dinner. And as we were eating dinner, I noticed she was moving her hand and she could not open her middle finger on her left hand. It wouldn't open, but she would reach over with her right hand and open her finger. And I asked her what was going on, and she told me that she had some things going on with her neck and just nerve issues, that she'd already had an operation on her right hand for a similar issue. And she was thinking about going to have an operation on her left side to fix whatever was going on with her finger, because she had been living with this issue for about a year. So I said, let's try something. I just happened to have my device around my neck as usual. I said, let's run a scan on you. So I did a scan on her. We saw what came up. I showed it to her. And then we did a session. And the session was a 5-minute session, 5 minutes and 59 seconds. So within running the scan and running the session on her was a total of about 7 minutes. When we were done, I asked her, I said, I want you to try something. I want you to see if you can open your hand. Immediately, within 7 minutes, she was able to open her finger without having to use assistance from her right hand. And so I recorded a video, which we'll make available after this so you can watch it, of her experience. And for me, that was next level healing it was an experience that I could not even really put into words, and I had to have her, do a personal testimonial to record it, because it was just one of those unreal experiences. My experience took me 4 days. Other things take a little bit longer. Most people take about 2 to 3 weeks to heal from certain things or to get balance from certain things. But this one was in 7 minutes, and it blew my mind. And I've shared that video with hundreds of people. It's got thousands of views, because it is really, truly just an extraordinary experience. And we'll make that video available for you to watch. The expression on her face, the gratitude, the joy, the tears that it brought us both to. Just a remarkable experience. The second one that I would like to share real quick is one that I had yesterday. I saw a lady post online, one of my friends. She's like, I need a miracle. I said, okay. So I sent her a message. I said, what kind of a miracle are you looking for? We scheduled a phone call. We had a phone call yesterday morning. We talked for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I explained to her what I had available that I would like to try with her to see what her results would be. So she ended up doing a session. Her session, we did some really in-depth stuff because she has some history. She's 50 years old. She's got some stuff that she really needed to focus on and deal with. So we did 3 sessions, basically, I did an aura scan for her. Then we ran the frequencies. Then we ran a resonance scan, ran the frequencies, and then we did another aura scan and ran the frequencies again. 2 of those sessions that we ran for her, when she was complete with her, we did 6 minutes on each session. After the 6 minutes, she says, Rio, I have to tell you that I had this sound, this frequency come through, and she described it to me. And since she's a singer, a vocal singer, she actually vocalized the frequency for me, which I don't think I've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth before. It sent chills through my entire body. She lives in the United States. I live in Bali. We're on opposite sides of the planet. So that happened twice. After the session, it was about an hour and 45 minutes total. We were talking more about what happened and showing her kind of what happens with the cells and the blood and the regeneration of those cells getting back to where they need to be bioenergetically. And she said, it's funny that you mentioned that word because I wrote a song when I was 19 years old and it's called Regeneration. So she sang it to me and the chills that I had before just amplified even more to the point where I started crying. She started crying, super emotional experience. She then recorded a video and sent it to me on Facebook, which I will make available as well for you to hear, just because it ties into the whole story. And then I had her write a testimonial of the experience that she had. I read it this morning when she wrote it, and immediately I got tears because of simply what I was able to offer to her. I didn't really do anything. I'm the facilitator, and that's it. I offered her something, access basically to the quantum field of frequencies and healing, and her experience was life-changing for her at 50 years old and is now already recommending it to all her friends and purchased more sessions because I do online sessions with people. And yes, this can work like this through the computer on the other side of the planet just as effectively as it can in person. And that's what I have to share.
Thank you so much, brother. It's the first time, by the way, that Rio is sharing his own story with the allergy and the stories of these 2 amazing beings. One of them, the Balinese woman, we shared the testimonial video in the chat. So check it out because you need to tune in the true authenticity of that person. Thank you, Rio. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure.
Let's jump back just a minute to see some surveys very quickly. It's not the case for everyone to get an instant major shift or improvement. However, we asked many different Healy users, how many applications do you need until a positive effect is noticed? And as you can see on that screen, it's very even between 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 10, or more than 10 applications. So what do we get from that? Well, we can say that half the people notice a positive effect with less than 3 applications. And that, if you're already in alternative medicines, is actually quite high as a rate of instant or quick improvement of your condition. That's very exciting. I want to comment on this for a second. Some people will have a great release and a great improvement in 1 session. Some people will take 2 weeks. Why is that? Well, simply because your body, as we said before, has the capability to already fix itself. But you don't know how far on that scale you are. And for people who have in 1 session great improvement, it means that their being, their body, and all the systems were almost there, but they needed a little push. And the correct sequence of frequency that the Healy will provide is that little push. Some people are a bit far behind because they're still in the negative patterns, habits, wrong nutritional or lifestyle setup, and they will need more recalibration. So it will take a bit longer. And I just want to share this one because it's never seen before in our industry. There's 94% of the people who would recommend the Healy to other people. And that's, you know, a blasting statistic that we need to be sharing. Almost everybody after using the Healy wants to recommend it because they believe in it and because they saw the effect of what it's doing. But you don't need to simply listen to Rio's stories, their testimonials. You can do your own research before you get one to try for yourself. And we invite you on this Facebook group called the Frequency Experience, which I just took the screenshot from. As you can see, it has 51,000 members. And this is a group only for posting testimonials. So we invite you to use, of course, to request going to the group and use the search function there and type in something that you have, you know, expectations to heal from or that you want to work on, just to see other people feedback on that particular experience. All right, so you can look for yourself, whatever you think it could help you with, and see if not somebody else already shared their experience. Wonderful. So just quickly, before we move into one of the most exciting parts, who invented Healy and who is at the head of this company, which is due to be the next billion-dollar company? Marcus Schmieke on the right. He's a quantum physicist, and he went to be a monk for 10 years in India. And his field of focus is the studies of applied consciousness, meaning of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field and with the fabric of this reality. He's also somebody who can play 25 games of chess in parallel, eyes closed, remember everything, and win. So you take this kind of, you know, genius that is passionate about finding new tools that can help humanity. And it took 50 years of his life for him to figure out a way to interrogate the quantum field. And Christian Halper, that you see on the left, is a billionaire and the single founder of Healy. So we don't have, you know, the risk of different investors and stakeholders that want to steer the company in a certain direction. It's just him. And he made his fortune in investment banking until he had a realization of, wait, actually I need to do good in the world and help people. So now he's exclusively funding companies that are so-called conscious, that are helping the development of wellness and consciousness on the planet. He's also the owner of a vegan chain of restaurants. You can learn more from them by your own research. Here, we want to move forward. As you understand, here we're talking about the medical field. So they've partnered up with some key leaders in all the different areas of frequency, biology, bioenergetics that exist in the planet. Here, we leave the slide for a second. If you want to take some names and look up what they're doing, their work is truly amazing. I'll touch base quickly on Caroline McMakin here, who is leading the research on which exact frequencies are doing what in the body. And she discovered it from a list she found from 1922. So it's been some time that people are researching what frequencies are doing when we send them in the physical body. And now I'm going to hand it over to Alex to talk to you about the opportunity and the community that we are creating together. Alex?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Thomas. And Rio also, that was a powerful share. And we could spend like 2 or 3 more hours on that webinar sharing beautiful stories. But of course, we invited people to look into it further on their own. And as I said, sometimes at first I was really excited about the device for myself and the biohacking, the like well-being support that we would provide, because I'm really interested in all things that can make us healthier. By the way, it's nighttime in Bali, so that's why I'm wearing those blue light blockers. because I'm watching a screen. Highly recommend too. And yeah, so I was really excited, had great results. And this is also a great opportunity to actually share with people and have an entrepreneurial adventure with it, and also to build community. So if you can go on the next slide, Thomas, just to explain why this opportunity is so amazing. And so as I told you at first, it was about the device. Then I got excited about the business, because in this time, it's nice to be able to do a good income online in these uncertain times, for sure. And then the community, and I'll talk about it a bit further. But so why it's such a great opportunity? Well, so it's in the industry of network marketing. In a nutshell, network marketing is like referral marketing. So, when you refer someone that you know and they buy the product, you make a percentage of that. So with network marketing, you have this with the people you refer to when they buy a product. But then if the people who buy from you also start to share with other people, you get incentivized on this. And that's why you can start making passive income, have a bigger team, and help on that. It's a bit similar to Tupperware. I think it's quite a famous one. And or some, I think it's Vitamix, who also does mixers and were famous in the past. Just it's this at the era of the internet, at the era of smartphones and apps, and at the era of the world awakening to the fact that we have frequencies all around, and it can help tremendously for our well-being. So that's the industry it's in, and we're all very grateful that they chose this industry to market the product. They chose it for a few reasons. I won't go too much into it, but basically to redistribute also the wealth to their users, also to make it faster, because in our day and age, usually people trust mainly the people who are around them, their friends. So it's a really smart way to do it and to grow fast. And it was also very appropriate to a disruptive industry that can be a bit harder to market in the traditional distribution side of medical industries. So it is a medical device certified by MedCert class 2A in Europe. And it got cleared by the FDA also. So that's for certain applications that were the ones Thomas talked about in the disclaimer. But the important point here is that it's the first product in network marketing that is a medical device. So Healy is very disruptive, but at the same time, it also has one foot in the system. They're not completely rebellious to the point that it would be too uncertain. So they're registered as a medical device, which creates a lot of safety around the long-term usage of the product. And so if, like me, you also partner with the company as a business opportunity, it's very interesting to understand that too, that it's very well built by people who know what they're doing. It's a unicorn product. So because it's a category creator, really. So in the industry of network marketing, you have a lot of water filters and shakes and creams and supplements, and they're often amazing, right? I use some of them, they're great, but they can be quite competitive, and it doesn't have that disruption that makes it exciting. So here's really a category creator in the way that Healy is so revolutionary. It has 144,000 frequencies. That's so rare in itself. It's the only device where you go directly tap into the quantum field, and it's so small and easy to use. So each of the things in itself make it unique. So and just for my personal experience to share, it's so easy because, for example, if you have the resonance like this, you can do a scan of the aura of someone. So I would literally see someone and have a chat or say, hey, do you want a scan of your aura? And the person's like, yes, for sure. You scan their aura, you send them the report automatically, and it's just so easy to share this way. And the potential is huge because it's disrupting a lot of industries. So if you think about it, vibrations, it's everywhere. It's actually who we are. It's everything. So all the industries are related to vibrations and frequencies. So for example, Thomas, you talked about fitness. We talked about mental health. We talked about, well, health in general, but even things like they're releasing frequencies for pets. The market of pets is huge. There is an additional set of programs that is called digital nutrition, which is like supplementation, but instead of getting a chemical pill, you get a frequency of better absorption, which often can work better. So all these industries are huge industries, and Healy is there as a category creator to disrupt all these industries. And in 2020, because so many people saw that potential, we've had 120,000 new members. Because when you get a Healy, you can be only a customer, and that's great. You use it for yourself. But for me, I see myself as a customer. I see myself a bit like a brand ambassador. So I'm going to share the product with people, distributor. And I'm also kind of an investor. I invest in a company that I think has a super solid product, a solid management to tackle future issues, and a beautiful market. So when you invest in a company, you want to understand what's the market. And here, to me, it was all green lights, and 2020 has definitely confirmed that. I'll share a little bit about my personal past quickly in 2020. And the idea is for you to see what's possible, right? Because in 2020, I was back from Bali in Australia, taking a sales job because, yeah, I didn't have much money from my savings, basically. But if you can put the next slide, Thomas. For me, it's been such a beautiful opportunity for my financial freedom and having more impact. So what I stand for is raising the consciousness of our planet and using entrepreneurship. Is the camera on? Let me check. Yeah, so using entrepreneurship. And so with this, I could at first already earn an extra income because I shared the device with the people I know are receptive to this, people like Thomas and a lot of other beautiful beings around the globe. Then I'm passionate about creating other leaders. So we built a team where we have new leaders that emerge from it. And there is a compensation plan that compensates me for helping people, which I love in a world that's sometimes very competitive. And it allows to circulate in the conscious economy. So I can invest in, for example, my podcast. You can see on the next slide, I've invested in that because I do a podcast where I interview people who I think have a major role in raising the consciousness and the charities we want to help. And basically, we want light workers, conscious entrepreneurs also to have more resources to have more impact in the world. And that's what's been happening to me. And also in terms of community building, Thomas, if you can put the next slide, you can really meet a tribe of people who are passionate about health and personal development. So for me, it's very important. I want to be part of circles of people that empower me in that way and find like-minded people to co-create that conscious new earth. Like it's early 2021. We see there is definitely a lot of things happening in the world that maybe we find a bit sad without getting into details. And at the same time, a great awakening of a lot of people. And it's beautiful to see. And we want to connect with these people. And for me, it's been such a way to connect. You can see on the next slide, an event we did in August 2020 in Bali. And we had all these beautiful conscious entrepreneurs, part of the Healy movement gathering, and we're singing kirtan and doing eye gazing and dancing. And at the same time, having workshops on how we can have more impact together in the world. What is the new earth looking like? So that's in a nutshell, what's possible beyond simply using that incredible product.
All right, I'll come again. And thank you so much, Alex. I love when you share about your excitement about creating something new, something different in today's world. And for sure, you know, we can only show by example. We can only lead by example. We can never force any belief to anybody. We can simply do it and tell them, look, it's possible for you too. So thank you for this beautiful sharing. Now we're 1 hour into the webinar, so we're perfectly on time for it to be giving enough information without drowning you. So the last part will be the editions. So basically, how does it look like if you want to try it? There's 4 Healy editions, and they all contain the same box. Depending on what you pay for, you have several functionalities of program available. And you can upgrade anytime. So if you don't have the financial funds to start with the best one, you can start lower, and then later on, if you like it, you upgrade and you try new frequency programs. So let's quickly look what these editions contain. The Healy Gold has a dedicated page for it. It's the first price. It's usually at 500 euros. And what it contains are the best, that's why they called it the gold frequencies, the most, let's say, full body, full being effect. There are some programs for purity, so to purify the connection, the energetical flux of information within your being. Care, to protect and nurture these vital functions in your being. Balance, which is going to balance distortions and energy, taking from parts of the body where there is more energy and redistributing it in other systems that are deficient. Being, which will help you to go out of the mind and simply be present and be aware and attentive to the pure existence of your life. Energy, which will boost your energy level. You know, for example, you go to a meeting, you're a bit tired, put the energy, it will stimulate the different systems and organs in your body to give you more energy. Relax, if you're a bit, fast, or if you're a bit stressed, put the relax frequencies, it will calm you down. And release for flushing out some tension. It can be in the mind, it can be emotional, it can even be physical. And then you can, of course, have an additional program page for pain or for the organs or for work included in that price. And then we're not going to go into the details of each one, but you have the holistic health, which has the gold frequencies that we just mentioned, plus the pain or local stimulation frequencies, the bioenergetical balance of each organ and systems, the mental conditions and mental balancing programs, the meridians, the sleep, and the skin programs. Normally, it's at 1,000 euros. Then you have the next edition, Holistic Health Plus, which has everything we just mentioned, plus learning, fitness, job, beauty, chakras, and even some protection programs for EMF, for subtle body, for even the planetary influences. And that normally is at 1,500 euros. And finally, we have the crème de la crème, the Healy resonance, which I'm going to show you after what it does in addition to the rest of the frequency program, which is access to the information in that quantum field, scanning your aura and your chakras. And normally that's at 2,500 euros. But right now, and it's the occasion of that webinar, there's a major promotion happening this entire month of February, where you can see the price difference, and it's not a small one. You save up to 1,000 euro on the Healy Resonance and 500 on the 2 editions below. And of course, you're not going to buy the Healy Gold since it's the same price as the edition after. So we've seen in the past, when there's a big promotion like this, many people come on board and then have their own experience. And if they're like, yeah, I want to talk to my family, to my friends about it, put it on my neighbor that has a problem on the knee, and then, by the next promotion, they're in and they're distributing and talking about it as well. So we'll conclude right after my presentation of the resonance on this is the good time to try it if your curiosity has been lit up by our presentation. Now, you can see that the resonance is significantly more expensive than the other editions, normally 1,000 euro more. Why is that? What does make the resonance edition so special? You can see on my YouTube channel, the resonance frequencies, many demos, but here in a few screenshots. First, you can diagnose yourself on the frequency level to know amongst those 120 programs, you know, I'm a bit lost. What would be good for me? You scan yourself and it will analyze the state of your being and recommend to you, for example, here when I did it end of January, it was telling me 65% resonance, so compatibility with the immune system program. Because I was feeling a bit low on my immune system, it popped up and told me, right now, it would be great to put the immune system frequencies because it could align and balance that particular functions. And then 54%, the nerves, balancing the bioenergetical field of my nervous system. So that's the first amazing thing you can do with the Healy resonance, is diagnose yourself on the frequency level. The second thing you can do, which I'm particularly most excited about for this whole Healy thing, is the fact that for the first time in history, you can use a technology to scan the level of energy in your chakras and not go to a master, a mystic, or a clairvoyant to have this information. And it looks pretty cool. Of course, I put a screenshot of the highest levels I've ever gotten, where you can see a level for each chakra between 1 and 100. It's a normalized scale, of course, and it will tell you how is the flux or the flow of energy in each of these chakras in the present moment. So here I was feeling quite fantastic. And then you can go even further. You can select one of these chakras and scan within that chakra what energy patterns or blockages are active in this moment. And it's not magic, it does the same thing as for the frequency, a resonance analysis. And it will give you actually advanced information on that. For example, here, the second line says, the person has a strong need for control. So that was in my solar plexus, and it was telling me that I had a disbalance, the distortion, because I was biased towards needing too much control. And that particular pattern was blue, meaning it was coming from my throat chakra. So it had to do with me trying to control too much the things through the use of my communication and my voice. And it can even tell me how accurate this approximation is, how much work I have to do to release or transmute that particular blockage, and if it's located in my physical body, in my emotional body, or even in my mental plane. Meaning if there is an emotional charge associated with this blockage, or if I release that already and it's just a belief system that is not serving me. And that, my friends, is what excites me the most. For the first time, you can be empowered to explore the state of your chakras and guide yourself on your personal development. Please see my YouTube channel for more demos on how that works and how deep it can go. And now, 1 hour and 7 minutes in, I'm pretty happy it's the shortest we've ever done. We can conclude before we go to questions and answers. First, you can try it for free. You have to pay it, but you can get the full refund within 14 days if you're not satisfied, and you don't have to justify why. We will help you if you need to return it. It's very simple, and it's one of the priority processes that has been put in place by the company. They have such great results that they allow this 14 days free return, because most people, if they really try it, they will get a great benefit. So what we invite you to do, because it's based on network marketing, is to contact, if you're curious, the person who invited you to this webinar, or that you know that has a Healy, and have a call with them, have a chat, you know. Maybe there's a bit more information that you need, maybe you have some questions, and that's the next step for you. So that's pretty wonderful. I'm really excited that we could pack in all this beautiful information in such a short time. Somebody is asking, there is a fingerprint on your presentation. Is that how you are scanning? Great question. No, it does not take your fingerprint. It's simply a logo so that you press on the button and focus your intention while you're being scanned. So now we're gonna open up the questions. If you're shy, you put it in the chat. If you're not, please unmute yourself and come and ask. We're ready to answer you thank you so much for listening to us until now. And let's open up the discussion now. All right.
Yeah. Thomas, hi, Thomas, it's Shelley.
Hello. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. I was a bit late, sorry. I'm in the middle of my new website, so it's been keeping me up late. Okay, so when you're showing the fingerprint, I know you've just explained, but where are you actually scanning? Is it like other devices where you move it around your body?
Can you reformulate your question to make sure I answer correctly?
Yeah, so when you're actually say you're scanning or
Yes.
you're healing, where are you placing the what do you call it, the monitor, or what's the scanning part of it called?
Yes. So when you are scanning, for those of you who have experienced a remote scan, there's a profile that will be created for you, meaning to find you so that the Healy can identify you in the quantum field. For that, you would hold the Healy and it will take a screenshot of your identity in the quantum field. And then when you will scan, it will connect to this identity and look at the resonance analysis on this person. So when you're pressing that symbol, that fingerprint symbol, it's for the person that is being scanned to focus and to stay stable on, not interfering with the process of scanning. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds to scan, and it will use that quantum imprint. So it does not matter where the Healy is at this moment, because it will directly connect into the quantum field.
I just haven't seen it in action. I've seen other ones. So I guess it's similar, yeah.
Yeah.
I did have another question, but that's gone.
If it comes back.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Can I ask you a financial question? Do you, because I remember looking at these last time, can I buy it via a business?
I believe yes. And since that's a specific question about buying, you can work with your sponsors directly. Here, we're going to keep it public. So we don't need to go in the details like this. But yes, you can buy it through your company and have a company account and get it paid through that tax system. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else that has a burning question or just wants to come on and say hi and comment maybe on our webinar?
Thomas, it looks like Zamina has a question.
Can you unmute yourself, Zamina? Trying to find you in the list.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Hey.
Well, I know we are in different times right now, so I would like to ask about some wires that I received, and I wonder if it's normal because my wires have some black spots, and I am not sure if
this we will not address here because this is a public webinar to discuss. No problem. Contact me directly, and we can see if your wires are doing well or if something is happening to them.
Okay, and what I would like to share is also that I am feeling really amazed with the Healy, because I was working first just with my neuropathy, that I was living with this pain since 4 years. Well, since July 2016 that I have a spinal cord surgery, and my prognosis was to stay in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, or also becoming quadriplegic is what the doctors were telling me. So I was dealing with this constant chronic pain. And since I have the first session with Healy, I could feel the reaction of my nerves and also the the pain that was kind of releasing. And it was very special because it was like moving and going in a evolution. No, I'm still using the Healy, and I use the local electrodes and also the resonance, and it's really helping me a lot. And the last process that I was going through now is to test the resonance in distance, because I was a little bit skeptic. But I have amazing results because I was doing readings to people that I never meet in my life, that are in other parts of the world. And when I tell them like their chakra reading, it's having so much personal information. And I was also using the flowers of Bach and the medical reading. And this also gives you some inputs of your personal, emotional story. And it's really amazing. I'm every day more surprised about this device. So I'm really happy to be able to support other people. And I know that I just know 1% of the capacities of this device. So I'm also really interested to learn more and move forward in the frequency knowledge. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your personal experience in this vulnerable way. It's wonderful, and we're so happy to co-create with you, and that we all have to learn more about the capabilities that we can have when working with the quantum field. I just wanted to say there's 10 people watching us on Facebook. I kind of set it up so I can see your comments. So if you have a question, you can put it in the comments on Facebook and we will answer it live. Wonderful. And so anybody wants to come online, please go for it. Okay, I'm going to then answer the question of Paola, who is asking how can we scan somebody who is not in the room with us? So yes, to answer your question, you're going to set up the profile for them, put the information that will identify them in the quantum field, and then you will ask them to hold their intention at the moment where you scan them remotely, and you will press on the scanning button. And that's it. That's how it will work. When we work in the quantum field, we work beyond space. And it's not the only technology that works remotely. You know, you can do that with Reiki, for example. It works on the same principle. All right, I see some comments. To recording the vibration. To identify somebody who is not physically with you and create their profile, you will not use the record vibration function. You will put their birth, last name, first name, place of birth, date of birth, and their picture, and that will be enough to find who is this person in the quantum field. That is using radionic technology, and you can look more how that works. It's always better when the person is next to you and they're holding the Healy and is taking their screenshot of their person. But, you know, probably there's only one person called X, Y that is born that day on that city and with this picture. And it's been working great like that. I'm seeing some thank yous. Thank you, thank you. Yes, the promo is on until March 2nd. So you have time to make up your mind, to talk to the people who have a Healy. And as well, which I found very important, ask your intuition. Ask, you know, your guidance. Ask for signs. Are you supposed to try it? You know, are you supposed to answer the calling of your curiosity? Is it something that is good for you?
Yeah, that's so important. If I can share, Thomas, I remember when I told you about Healy, you sat in meditation with your guys and it was like a full yes. And for me, when I was a bit in the mind before I reached out to you to see, okay, do I want to buy it? I could feel, for me, it's more in the body. So it's expansion or contraction. And I could feel so much expansion. So that's usually a good indication.
Absolutely. I always ask my guidance before I invest or put my time and energy in something.
I have a question.
1 second. First, I'm going to answer the question of David. Do you guys offer payments in multiple installments, especially for the higher editions? Healy does not. However, if you're in Europe, you can pay in 4 times using PayPal. So you would work with your sponsor, and at the moment where you have to pay, you select PayPal, takes you to your PayPal account, and there you can pay in 4 times. Yes, Shali, you have a question?
Yes, the one about it's about the skin. Does it scan for various skin problems? Can you identify those skin problems? Because it's a huge interest of mine.
Yes. What he will do is that he will not pinpoint a specific disease or a specific name or problem, but the name of the program that is recommended for you will give you an indication. So what are these programs for skin? Let's take a real example. You have a program for acne or for pimples, for breakouts. You have a program for cicatrization, so for healing wounds. You have a problem for wounds, which are open wounds that need to stop to cicatrize. You have problem for general skin, for example, dryness or rashes. And there's a couple more that don't come up to my head right now. So if you scan yourself in the skin category and it tells you local cicatrization or local wounds with a high percentage, for example, 70 or 80%, that means your body is asking for the frequencies to help close a wound. And if you're not already aware where you have a wound on your body, you can check, because usually, you know, you cut yourself somewhere or you scrape your skin somewhere, and that's why it's coming up so high. Can share here that, yeah.
Do you have any testimonials of people who've done that successfully?
Yes, my little brother, he burned himself to the 2nd degree on his thigh, and my parents sent me the picture and asked me what to do, and I said, look, of course, clean it and put the local application for wounds, meaning you put the electrode, the sticky pads on the sides of the wounds of the burn, and they run it for like probably twice every day for a week. And actually the wound healed so quickly that they were completely amazed. So that's a direct testimony. What I what I would like to ask you to do is to explore this frequency experience group on Facebook and put whatever issue you have with your skin and see for yourself what people are saying, what they have used, and how long it took to get resolved.
It's just that I have a lot of patients with skin problems, so I was thinking more along that line. And if I can show them, then they're more likely to buy the Healy.
For sure, but you can ask them to go into that group and check for themselves, because there are a lot of testimonies on this with picture, people taking the picture before, 3 days after, 1 week after, 2 weeks after. So you can really see the evolution of the condition in time.
Okay.
So that's a group for everybody that is curious to check for themselves, because that's the most important part.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Well, we can take one more question or intervention, please. Checking on Facebook. Don't have a question. It was answered. Great. All right. Do we have any other question or comment? Alice said she added her own skin testimonial on the Facebook group, so with the photos, much more compelling.
I am here, but I'm in my pajamas.
You want to share quickly, maybe?
It's late in Australia, but I'll just share it very quickly for you. I had a fungal skin problem on my toe in Bali for about 6 to 8 weeks, and when I got to quarantine in Australia, I kept doing my scanning. It kept coming up with skin, but my toe just wasn't in my conscious mind. So I kept thinking, why is skin coming up? And I was like, I don't have any acne. I don't have any scars that I think I need healing. And then suddenly it just popped into my mind. I was like, oh, my toe that I've been having problems with for, 2 months. And it said to run the local scars program. So I did 2 20-minute sessions with the sticky pads and putting the electrodes on either side of where the fungal problem was on my toe. And within that week, it started to clear up. And then when I got out of quarantine, I ran another 2 sessions of 20 minutes and it's fully cleared up. And I've put photos of how it looked before I started, how it looked on my second session, and how it looked after it had fully cleared up. And I was using, before I did the Healy on it, I was using colloidal, silver, little bit of tea tree oil, lavender oils, and it would clear up a little bit and then just flare up again. But using the Healy, just those two sort of sessions over a week period, and it fully cleared up. So that was just amazing. So yeah, the photos are there on the Frequency Experience Facebook group.
Thanks.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Sorry. How do you prove to somebody that it's the Healy and not the natural healing process?
Well, I mean, it was taking a long time to clear up. So I was working with it with, the 3 oils and colloidal silver gel. And it wasn't. It was still there after 8 weeks. And when I ran the Healy, it cleared up. Okay. So for me, Okay. And my intention was always there when I was putting the lavender oil on or the colloidal to clear it up, to heal it. And it happened after using the Healy. So for me, and I've been using the Healy for probably about 8 months now with lots of different results. But just doing that, it was so wonderful to have photographic evidence, because not everything you can have evidence with photographs, but this I really could. It's very clear. So go in and have a look. My testimony is probably quite high up because I only put it on there a little while ago, and there's been a lot of comments. So you'll probably come across it quite quickly and easily if you do just scroll down through the group.
Okay.
All right, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for your sharing, Alice, and probably hundreds of comments on your post, like any great testimony on that group. So what I would like to simply conclude with is first thanking you for almost everyone to stay for the full hour and a half. So that's amazing. Thank you for your commitment and your presence. And what I would like to conclude with is the Healy is the first technology on this planet that can connect to the quantum field in order to have an applied effect for you. It's not just theory, it's not just discussed by scientific and philosophical minds, it's real, it's embodied, it's anchored, it's in your hands, and you can use it. And that's why I believe that it's absolutely the future of medicine, and why it's disrupting and going to revolutionize not just the medical field and the wellness field, but also other fields of applications. Because we have a way to interrogate the, let's say, higher intelligence of life, bypassing the human mind. And that, my friends, is opening gigantic possibilities. He is pioneering this technological innovation in a rather beautiful way, using, the people to experiment, to talk about it, and to continuously refine the frequencies. So the more we go in time, the more these programs are updated, and everybody's always using the latest list of frequencies coming from research. So thank you so much. Please go ahead and contact the person who first told you about Healy, or if you just stumbled upon that webinar on Facebook, see whoever shared it. Go ahead, question your intuition, make some research, check out for yourself these testimonies. And if you're curious, I remind everyone, you have 14 days after you receive it to try it for yourself. And if you don't want it, or if some priorities have changed, get your money back and try again later. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, wherever you are in the world. We're sending you all our blessings from our team here worldwide. and looking forward to hearing from you. Ciao,
Thanks,
ciao.
guys.